So, if you've been on self-improvement for a while, you probably know that video games are bad. They give you unnecessary dopamine, they take energy away from your work, they give you a false sense of progress. We all know these things. We've been taught that instead of resting through these traditional methods of watching movies and video games and all this bad dopamine, instead we should do optimal rest, or low dopamine rest, how it's called on the internet. And that usually implies doing a bunch of good habits: meditating, journaling, taking walks in nature, sitting in sunlight. If you ask AI, this is exactly the type of stuff that it's gonna parrot to you. And that's what I did as well. For many months, I was extremely burnt out because I worked very hard. And my resting strategy was to take a few days, maybe a week, 2 weeks off, to just do this sort of optimal rest routines. And I'd have days in which I'd stare at a wall and do nothing, days in which I just sit all day outside, days in which I meditate so much, and it felt fun. But it was sort of not working because I did all of this, and no matter what, I was still tired. And I actually went as far as going, like, I think a whole month of doing nothing. Well, as little as I could, because I had my university. I was a student, so I had to do that. But beside that, I only rested. And no matter what, no matter how long I did it, it felt like it wasn't enough. It felt like I wasn't recovering because I was like so exhausted. And I decided to start viewing rest and work as this sort of willpower, like discipline. So instead of seeing rest as, okay, I need to have time in which I don't do anything work related, I saw it as I need to have time in which I don't use discipline. Because what happened with those optimal rest periods is that instead of resting, I just turned it into another disciplined routine. Like, yeah, I didn't work, but I still used all of my discipline to do all of these good habits. Not scroll a single second, not Google anything, not go on my phone, not watch a show, not watch movies, not eat shit, not do anything. Instead, I just applied all the discipline that I applied my work into these good habits. And yeah, this is healthy, it's very good, but for some cases, when you're truly and utterly exhausted, you cannot afford to pay more of this discipline, to use more of this discipline on good habits, because it's not gonna help you recover as quickly. And that's what I did. Actually, I gave myself over a week, to just play games, play video games, to watch shows, do absolutely nothing productive. Of course, I still kept up my habits like meditating, gratitude journaling, and all these things, but I reduced them, stopped using so much discipline to excel in them. So, like, instead of 10-20 minutes of meditation, just 5. I only did it when I felt like it, instead of doing it early in the day or like at a set time in my routine. And what that did is, in a week of this, I feel like a new person. I feel so much more energetic because I haven't been using that discipline. Now, I have tried this before in the past, and it actually gave me a video game addiction, and I had to spend days to stop it. And that's maybe what you're thinking. Okay, well, all these people, Hamza, Hormozi, Andrew Tate, all these people telling you not to play video games, not to do this sort of thing, and I agree with them. But there are some times when you need to let off. And I'm not telling you to play video games. Maybe for you, resting means to eat junk food, or to smoke nicotine, or have alcohol. It all depends on what your actual biggest desire is. For me, look, how I did my resting protocol is I played video games, I watched shows, but I still kept doing some cardio every day, still worked out once a week, and I still did my good habits, and I kept my good diet because I don't want to break it. I like that. I like those things. For other people, maybe you actually absolutely hate having a diet, all right? And as long as that wouldn't a week off or 2 weeks off wouldn't actually completely ruin your weight loss progress, I honestly would recommend you to just stop eating healthily. Just eat whatever you want for a week. That will give you so much more energy than just using discipline but for other things. Obviously, on the long term, this is not good. You will not be more energetic on the long term if you do these habits daily, and that's why we keep them just for these actually not mini, just these vacations that we take from our work so that we can recharge. When you have a weekend or an extended weekend, you feel like you're a bit tired, but you're not wanting to fully stop, then obviously don't start doing these habits. But if you actually feel like any small waiting, any small break doesn't help, then you might need to go into one of these. For example, Charlie Morgan. I learned this from him, and what he does is he eats junk food, scrolls on short form content, and smokes nicotine and drinks alcohol during those times. I don't like to do any of those things particularly, and I don't really have much of a desire for them. So, but I did have a big desire to play some games. And what games you play is very important if you are gonna take this route, because I'll be honest, games are fucking addictive and they are fucking fun. And you might think if you're like me, the first thought that comes to mind is Minecraft. Let's play Minecraft. That one's low dopamine. I played it in my childhood. It reminds me of the good old days. But I think Minecraft is one of the worst games to play on this sort of detox. Because detox, what? This is not a detox. This toxifying, dopamine maxing season. Why? Because if you're like me, you like progressing, you like building things, and Minecraft gives you just that. Minecraft is an infinite game where you can progress infinitely. In that 1 week, let's say you just follow this and you play Minecraft for that 1 week. You're gonna make a house, a farm. You're gonna make terraforming, cut down trees, straighten up the land. You're gonna make other houses. You're gonna make a house for storage, whatever. You're gonna make automatic farms. Then the week ends, okay, or the 2 weeks or the period that you wanted to rest in ends. You go back to work, but that world isn't finished. You think, okay, I got this new project. I want to make like a statue, or I want to do this thing, or be the Ender Dragon, or do what. There's infinite things to progress in that, and that's actually, in my opinion, not very good. Instead, honestly, what I did is I only limited myself to very low progression games. So I only played 2 games, and one of them was the most. It's just a car racing game. That's it. You don't have money in it. You don't have credits. You don't have experience points. No, you just have maps and cars. You hop in a car and you race around that map, or you drive normally, or whatever you want. That's it. And what I found honestly is that is actually not that addicting. I'll be honest, I'm back to progressing and working, and it feels more fun than that. The other one was Unturned. So the first one was BeamNG Drive, that's the name. The second one was Unturned, just a survival game, but it's like cartoony graphics, right? It's like you go to towns and kill zombies and get food, weapons, stuff like that. But okay, there is like a multiplayer part of it which is very addicting, but I wasn't in there. And also there are greater big maps which can take up a lot of time because they have quest lines and stuff. But I just went on the smallest map without any quests. I just visited all the towns, visited the military base, I killed some zombies there, and that's it. Nothing else. And after an hour and a half, I was done with it. I didn't even want to do it anymore. And the other thing that I did was watch shows, and I don't like to watch action TV series stuff because that is addicting to me and I get very hooked to the plot. Instead, what I did is I watched I don't know how to call it, like a real life show, like a show, not a show in which there's like an imaginary plot with actors, a show in which there are, it's the grand tour. It's just people who, that's the show, people who have adventures in real life and they just document it. That's it. It's like real life stuff. There's no plots. The only plot is like 1 hour long for the whole episode because they do probably script it, but that's it. There's nothing, no spoilers, nothing to remain in your mind after the season of undisciplined resting. And now I'm documenting to see if actually this works because I'm starting to get back into work, easing myself back into it, and I firstly I feel better, but let's see if I actually can progress better because until now I really could only work for a few minutes, like a few hours, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours. I had a headache after that, but now I feel more able. Like it's been 12 minutes. I've recorded this and I've scripted it for 20 minutes, so and I'm still feeling pretty fresh, pretty good. So let's see what the future holds, and thanks for watching. If you liked it, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.